Hey people, hey boys and girls. I'm here to tell you today about an opportunity that I really enjoyed this year, and it's one of the highlights of my year, to be honest. So, first off, my name is Deborah Dada. In case you don't know me, day to day I am a product designer, but on the side I have a social impact initiative. If you don't know me now and you don't know Trustings, if you know me, you should know Trustings. Trustings is my teenage initiative that we actually provide resources, environment, experiences, events for teenagers. And I believe that if they see these things and we give them the right information, they will make the best decisions for themselves and they will change the society at large. So I started this vision in 2024. I'll not bore you again, but this year I saw an opportunity to join a fellowship, and this is like a program that they will teach you things, particularly for people that are doing social impact, and I took it. This program was an initiative of Celebration Church International, and it was very useful for me because at the time I had already figured out events for Trustings, but I felt like structure was missing in the things that we're doing. So attending these lessons and going through this learning process was very important to me. So I applied in June. I got feedback in June as well that I was accepted. It was open to all members of the church, but you needed a recommendation letter from your pastor, and you also need your membership certificate. So at that time I was still going through membership school, so I had to write them a mail to say, please, I'm still in school, I don't have certificate yet. And I was able to get in. Glory to God. I got into the class. It was such it was packed, and the truth is I don't know how I want to summarize all of that class in 10 minutes. Of course, I will not give you all the details because there's intellectual property involved, but I'm going to tell you the things that I learned. And if you have a social impact project, I beg you, anytime a new cohort for this fellowship opens again, please sign up. You are going to be so excited that you did it, because I will tell you all of the course modules that we did. I'll tell you the different assessments and assignments that we did. I'll tell you how those assessments were useful for me and how I was able to interpret them in the projects that I did after. And they don't just teach you. The beautiful thing is, at the end, you attempt a capstone project, which will be like, oh, I'm implementing everything I've learned. And I think there's no better way to set someone up for success than to teach them and also tell them to show what you have taught them. So it's like you do project work as well. It was so useful. So we started in July, and I think we ran through to classes till September. Then we used October for the capstone project. So it was intense 9 weeks of training before we did the capstone project. The first class talked about vision and system thinking, and oh my God, it was so useful for me because if you know me, I was doing Trustings, but I did not have a clear vision, like, oh, this is what we are doing. It just felt like we are doing everything for teenagers. So that was actually one of the things that inspired the vision statement that we did, and particularly because I am running this initiative from the United Kingdom and the initiative is in Nigeria. So I needed to know how to set systems, how to set structures for what we are doing. So it was so important for me to that first class of vision was very important, and we talked about system thinking. It was Mr. Femi Taiwo. He was one that took the session, and he has so much wealth of experience talking about vision. I'll tell you a couple of things he said, of course, not everything that he said. So it's like God, he first linked it to the Bible, that God is actually called us as Christians to lead change. And that was where he pointed as things like Red Cross was actually birthed by Christians during the war. So Christians are actually the ones that we are responsible for leading change in the society. So this gave me so much chills. Okay, yeah, I'm on the right path doing what I'm supposed to do. Then the second class we had talked about vision to impact. How do you then translate this vision to impact? And then they now give us so much. So I'm looking at my notes, so I can tell you the things that they give us. They don't give us so much, the things like you can do if you're thinking for non-profit. What are the ways that you can actually demonstrate your impact if you are thinking in terms of non-profit, and there he was speaking about things like impact report. How do you document these numbers for people to actually say that this is the profit that you are making? Even your profit is not in money, but your profit is in value. This is the profit that you are making. Then we went on to the third class, and I think this third class was my favorite. All the classes are my favorite to be honest, but this third class was very useful for me because it was about organizational structure and board governance. I only have 2 of my friends that came on board, and we registered the business together when we did, and they are very passionate about trustings as much as I am passionate about it. But they have their daily lives as well, which meant that I needed to figure out what's the top level of governance for trustings. Is this something I should be thinking about now? At the time I thought it was very important, but now I had to, that class made me realize, okay, this is not as important as every other thing that I need to put forward. Visioning is important, but setting a board is important, but not right now. And again, if you need a board, what do you need a board for? What are the different areas that you need a board? Do you need a board for a board member for stakeholder management, for the financial part, someone that knows about the industry? You need to set those things first before you bring people on board. That was very useful to me. The next class, we now talked about program management. I have a program manager and I manage things with trust things, but this took knowledge to the next level for me because it now made me see, okay, what are the things? I'm talking program stems to you, I'm talking theory of change, I'm talking stakeholder mapping, and that's on period. So this class really opened my mind to actually create a theory of change. So I can tell you a bit about theory of change. Theory of change is that document that is, okay, if I put in this input and we do these activities, this will be the outcome, this will be the output, and this will be the impact. So you are documenting, this is what we'll give to the teenagers, this is what we'll expect immediately, this is what we expect after 3 months, this is what we expect after 3 years. So that way, if you are talking to donors or you're talking to people, you know what to tell them. You have this document ready. You see this theory of change document, it saved my life in the just concluded conference that we did. Absolutely amazing section. Then we talked about fundraising, talked about after you have raised funds, how are you going to be like a good financial steward of that money? We also talked about it. Then we went on to talk about storytelling. Remember, this session was taken by Folashade. She's in Canada. I've forgotten her surname. But yeah, she took this session because it was so inspiring because she talked about personal branding as well. Like, how do you look at your personal brand? How do you humanize your brand so much? And I feel like this is one of the things that bettered me coming back to this YouTube to talk about things, to put a human face to the brand that I'm building, to put a human face to the things that I am working on. And sincerely, those sessions were very insightful sessions for me. Then we talked about measuring and assessing and documenting your impact. What numbers should you put forward? Who should we send, who should you show what? Those things are extremely important. We talked about that as well. Then the last class was about leveraging technology for impact. And this session, because I work in tech, it felt like I will know this one. But then when the teacher came, it's like, Alaye, you know nothing. Because he then was talking about how there are different social projects in the world and how they have used technology, how they are using it to save lives. I'm like, it's not even close to the things that I am thinking about. But it then made me think of areas where I can use my current job to make my social impact work easier and to leverage on it. And it was so useful. After all of this, we're all tasked with a capstone project, which I did. So my capstone project was a community service, and in that community service we went out with teenagers to the market to clean the market. And why we did this is because, of course, we work with teenagers, but we're doing it for them so that their mindset is changed. When they see dirt on the floor, they're able to take more responsibilities more to their surroundings, to what is important to them. They're able to think about things not from a selfish perspective but from a communal perspective. And again, we're also keeping the environment clean. So it was such a wonderful session. We had about 15 teenagers. We had Manowar guide us through the market in Ogun State, picked the dirt. The teenagers had fun. We had meals after. Such an interesting session. I mean, I've submitted my capstone project and I'm waiting for my certification. Once I get it, I'm gonna rub it in your faces. I will rub it in your faces, I promise you. But if you are working on a project at the moment that is a social impact project, you are looking for some guidance or for some head start, something to help you, give you the right information to start with, I think that when the application for the Legacy Fellows program, when it comes out, please apply for it. I'm sure that you would learn so much from it. Because of it, I've been able to carve my vision statement properly. I know all of our missions, I know our values properly. I have theory of change for events to come. Documentations and structures have been put into what we are doing. Our system is stronger. I am so excited for all that we have done through Legacy Fellows program. So please, if you have something going on, I think that's something you should be looking out for. I don't know when the next quote is coming out, to be honest, but when it comes out, I'll possibly post it anywhere. And if you find it helpful, I'm sure that you will apply if it's useful to you. All right, so that's going to be me for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm going to see you in my next video. And please don't leave this video without subscribing, without liking, without dropping a comment, or without sharing with any of your friends. My name is Deborah Dada once again, and I'm going to see you tomorrow.